Kalong ka jing ngok kemen shikat day bakat banang yat kipor bonangi latip kumnu ban sumare kamet tadi Hendrei ni don pat ki balangop hak ki jing bam kai ki bam wanra ka kot ka khia hak ni kamet ka phat te halor ka ni ka phang ban rat ding khong ne ban ai ka jing hikai ki pat ba halor kumnu bangin nang ban sumare lade ban ba me ki jing bam ki bataimen Haka country tarik nai lur ka Home Science Department jaka St. Mary's College kala Pynlong ya ka regional workshop ka baningkong halor ka phang Nutrition for All Together Towards a Healthy India bala Pynlong da ka St. Mary's College ha auditorium. Haka ni ka sngi ladan bantalang UMLA barim kanong Thamai constituency u Dr. Jamino Mautho kumukongsan ubadai ru u Associate Professor Adult and Continuing Education Nehu Shillong Sister Shillong Mary, thank you. Principal in charge, Dr. Sister Mary Harriet, Vice Principal, Miss Yvonne Nongrum, kikana class jongka Home Science Department, but kinong shakot ngobha. Hakani ka sngi la ai kijing batay banya siya pang kanika program da Miss Babita Goldsmith ibala batay banya halor ka pang National Nutrition Day.
Dr. Jamino Mautho, Dr. Sister Mary Harriet, Sister Shillong, the resource persons, dietitian Chaynika Sharma, and Dr. Grace Darlene Shilla. A warm welcome to our senior colleagues and all my dear teachers here, the participants from various institutions, and our dear students. As we are aware, National Nutrition Week is an annual event observed in India in the month of September. It was first started in 1975 by the American Dietetic Association. Now it is known as the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. In 1980, the idea of National Nutrition Week was popularly received by the general public, and so the celebration was extended to the whole month of September. In 1992, National Nutrition Week was first celebrated in India. The week-long event is an initiative of the Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India. It is to educate people about the significance of balanced diet, adequate nutrition, and the impact of right food choices on improving overall physical and mental health. The theme for this year's National Nutrition Week 2023 is Healthy Diet Going Affordable to All. This theme underscores the critical need to make nutritious food accessible to everyone, regardless of their economic status or social background. The government is keenly focusing attention on the primary life stages in women, like pregnancy, infancy, childhood, and adolescence. Thus, going with the theme Suposhit Bharat, Sanskar Bharat, Sakshat Bharat, which means nutrition-rich India, educated India, and empowered India. India performs very poorly on a wide range of undernutrition indicators. On one hand, exhibiting high rates of stunting, wasting, and anemia among preschoolers, and underweight and anemia among the adult women. And on the other hand, a rising prevalence of overnutrition, especially in urban areas, with an increase in the prevalence of overweight or obesity in adult men and women. In recognition of these problems, the current Indian government has invested in National Nutrition Strategy. Poshan Abhiyan, the National Nutrition Mission, was launched in March 2018 to achieve improvement in the nutritional status of children from 0 to 6 years adolescent girls, pregnant women, and lactating mothers in a time-bound manner, and to achieve reduction in stunting and wasting in children, as well as reduction in anemia in children. Under this Poshan Abhiyan, focus is on diet diversity, food fortification, leveraging traditional systems of knowledge, and popularizing the use of millets. The aim is to develop sustainable health and well-being through regional meal plans to bridge the dietary gaps. Further, greater emphasis is being given on the use of millet for preparation of hot cooked meal and take-home rations. Previously, it was raw rations distributed in the Anganwadi centers. However, Poshan Abhiyan and other nutrition initiatives face a particularly daunting challenge in India, where both poverty and malnutrition rates are very high. The need of the hour are many, but to name a few, greater focus is needed on enhancing affordability of nutritious food groups, and not only the cereals. Policy changes to make healthy food cheaper and to provide them through government schemes. Ensuring that economic growth results in sustained income growth for the poor. More timely and transparent monitoring of food prices, incomes, and dietary costs. Collaboration among the government bodies, NGOs, healthcare personnel, and the private sector. To sensitize students on the importance of nutrition and its role in leading a healthy and disease-free life. Health campaigns to promote the importance of eating a diet packed with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats to mitigate the risk of diseases like diabetes, heart diseases, and certain types of cancer. Also empowering women in knowledge about balanced diet, breastfeeding, and infant nutrition. That proper nutrition during pregnancy and lactation significantly influence the health of both the mother and the newborn. Today's event with the theme Nutrition for All, Together Towards Healthy India, is a small effort on our part to make our students aware of the importance of good health and healthy lifestyle. To remind them that health is indeed wealth, and keeping fit is not an option but a necessity.
Haba ajing gran u Dr. Jemino ulayaro yaka Home Science Department juga St. Mary's College bakala shim yakat kani kasin jam ban wanra yaka jing bha haka imlang kasalang. Ula ongru bada ki million ki briu haka lang ka perthai ki shem jing ban yo yaka bam ka babiang. Ula kenturu ba ngide ban sumar bha yaka met ka phan khnang bangin laj na ki jing pang baharukom ki bawan ling shop ling ba ka bam jungi.
We used to hear about these slogans: education for all, health for all, jobs for all, maybe even water and sanitation for all. But this is the first time I'm hearing this nutrition for all. What happened to all these slogans, to all the initiatives, to all the efforts made on the part of the government and different organizations to achieve the objectives and the goals of education, of health, and so on and so forth? I think it's a big challenge for the people of our country, for the government, for all the stakeholders. When we look at the plans, when we look at the programs, when we look at the objectives, it looks very nice. But when we talk about the implementation part, when we talk about the delivery system, I can understand that although we have achieved to a certain extent, but we have also failed miserably in many sectors. And that is the truth, and that is the irony. All these slogans. And about this nutrition for all, I'm glad that the Department of Home Science is organizing this regional workshop. I think it's extremely, extremely important. It's very important. In fact, I recalled when I was an MLA at that time, I had also taken some initiative of organizing some programs in my constituency, together with the Food and Nutrition Department, because we wanted to sensitize people, we wanted to create awareness amongst the population, the different categories of the population, especially the poorer sections of the community. Because when you talk about the eating food habits, you will realize that many young children and even young adults, or even mothers, pregnant mothers, mention has been made about lactating mothers. I think we are denied of the nutritional elements that we are supposed to receive. See, when we talk about the goal of nutrition for all, we are talking about providing every individual with proper food, adequate food, proper nutrition, and so on and so forth. I think that is the challenge. I think that is the goal. Whether you talk about the initiative of the United Nations, you talk about the initiatives of the government of India also. I think that is the goal. To provide food, nutritional food, which is adequate, which is affordable to all sections of the community, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, as mentioned by Madame Babita, income level, and so on and so forth. I think all of us, we have a right, to get proper food, proper diet, and that is very, very important. But when we look at the world today, what do we see? When we look at the state of the world today, in spite of millions and millions of dollars spent on development, still we find that many nations in the world today are suffering from impoverishment. You can name countries like Ethiopia, Congo, Sudan, Yemen, and so on and so forth. So many countries in the world where a large number of the population are still malnourished. I was just Googling yesterday, and I don't know whether this figure is correct or not. 2021, there are about 2.3 billion people in this world who are malnourished. So if we have a population of 8 billion in this world, just imagine 2.3, which constitutes about 30%. I may be wrong. I think the faculty from Home Science will have a better understanding about the figures. And then if you talk about the context of our country, out of 1,400 million population, I think almost 200 million population are malnourished. So you can understand that is a huge challenge. Sizable number of people are still do not have access, to proper diet, proper food, and so on and so forth. So that is why I feel that this kind of a program is very, very important. Sister has mentioned about how important that diet is for the well-being of the people. Now we talk a lot about mental health also. I remember long time back, I read in this Times magazine about the mind-body connection. What you eat also influences the way you think and your thought process. So, and vice versa. So you can understand what you eat is very, very important, especially for our young students here who are budding with all kinds of activities. I think you need to get the proper nutrients, a balanced diet. I think that is very, very important. We need to put a lot of emphasis on this. Yesterday, one of my research scholar who is still under my supervision. He's now an MCS officer, he's an assistant commissioner and also a BDO. He works in one block of this state. And he said, sir, it's very unfortunate. Yes, we have these programs of the government. But when you go to the interiors, the picture is somewhat different. Still you have these, children and then mothers who still lack, adequate food and proper nutrition. I'm not saying that the Anganwadi workers or the health workers are not very effectively working, but there's a lot of gaps, there's a lot of loopholes as far as the implementation and the delivery is concerned. So that is why there's a lot to be done in this regard. So when we talk about food, again, just to refer to Sister just now, I was asking about Sister Philomena, because I think once upon a time she was also a principal, no? Yeah. I think she'll be around 80 or 82 now. 80. And still fit, still very active, I'm told. So I was telling Sister, I said, you should ask her, what is the secret? Because we have to know the kind of food and the kind of diet that she's, having also. I think that's important. We need to know.